Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you some of my Steelbooks, the horror variety. These are all Steelbook titles that I have that are horror. And there's one that's a sci-fi title that I threw in I wanted to kind of show off today. So up first we will start with Eden Lake. And Eden Lake came out in 2008 and it's a British horror film. It's a very good horror film, I think. There's no interior artwork, as you can see. This is a very good addition. It's about a couple, young husband and wife, that go on a little romantic getaway down at the beach, and they get terrorized by a group of young punks. And the movie is very violent, and there's some shocking scenes, and it has a pretty good ending. And I do recommend Eden Lake from 2008. Up next we have The Orphan Killer. And this is a Matt Farnsworth horror film. And this one was signed. I got this on eBay about, I'd say about a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago. I can't remember how long ago it was, but here you can see the autograph of Matt Farnsworth, who was the director. And then you have the lead actress, who was Diane Foster. And then you have TOK, which stands for The Orphan Killer, and that was signed by David Backus, who played the Orphan Killer right there. So, and this movie it's kind of gore porn. I don't think it's a very great film. It's probably about an average film. It does have a lot of blood. It's a splatter film, but this is an excellent package. You get the soundtrack here. It looks like there's 14 songs, and then you have the Blu-ray. This is probably one of the nicer Steelbooks I've ever seen. You can see all the blood splatter and everything, which is really cool. Here you have the back, and it comes with a pretty thick booklet here. Some stills and posters and write-ups about the film. And this was a limited issue. I think this was limited to 1,000 that were signed. I could be wrong. It might have been 1,500. But if you get a chance, go on eBay and pick it up. Don't pay more than you have to for it. I would say if you can find it for anywhere from like 30 to 40 bucks, snatch it up. If anything, just for the Steelbook packaging is outstanding. The movie itself is, like I said, it's okay. I've seen much better, but you know, it's good for the gore effects and stuff like that. So I know there's a lot of you guys out there that love the gore, and I do too. Up next is The Lords of Salem. And this is a Rob Zombie film from 2012, and it stars his wife Sherry Moon. She's the lead character. She's a radio DJ. One day she finds a record, an album, and they play it, and it shows flashbacks of the horrible past from the town that they live in, and there's a lot of witchcraft and stuff like that. It's about the best way I can explain it. It's a solid movie. I really enjoy Rob Zombie's films though, so I'm kind of partial to his directing, and I do like this movie, but I could see how some people wouldn't like this movie too. I can totally understand that. That is The Lords of Salem. Up next is a David Fincher classic, Seven, starring Brad Pitt. And everybody knows this film. Came out in 1995. It's one of the best endings ever in a horror film, in my opinion. And I consider this a horror film, even though some of you would probably call it a crime thriller. Anything with a serial killer in it, to me, is also considered horror. Let's see, Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. Brad Pitt's kind of a young, hotshot cop, and then Morgan Freeman is the grizzled veteran who kind of takes Brad Pitt's character under his wing. And I'm sure you've all seen this film before. And this is a very, very good film. I really enjoy that film. That's Seven. Up next is Resident Evil Degeneration. And I'll tell you, I really prefer these CGI films to the actual films with Mila Jovovich. I am not a fan of the live-action Resident Evil series, not at all. I think this stays more true to the game, and I'm a gamer. I love to play games, and I always play all the Resident Evil games when they come out. Same thing with Silent Hill and anything that's survival horror I really enjoy. And I just felt that the Mila Jovovich series was not a very good series, and it didn't really stay true to the game itself, so I prefer this. And this one came out in 2008. There was also one called Resident Evil Damnation that came out a couple years ago. I think it was like 2012, which is also very good. This one's a little bit better than Damnation, but they're both up there. And I do recommend Resident Evil Degeneration. If you can go pick that up, grab it. Up next is World War Z, starring Brad Pitt. And I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was very good. I thought it could have been a little bit better even, because the premise was pretty cool. I mean, it was nothing new. There's been virus outbreaks before, but I thought the CGI in some of these scenes were just outstanding. They were really, really good. But I thought the film was missing something. There was just something that I think they could have stepped it up a little bit better, and this probably could have been, I would give this about a 7 out of 10, and that's a very high score for me. I think this just missed about like an 8 or a 9 if, you know, if they would have had an element twist into it. I'm not sure what they were missing, but there was one thing missing from this movie that couldn't quite push it up to an 8 or 9. Up next we have the original A Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984. And this is a pretty cool Steelbook. This was a Best Buy exclusive. Very good movie. There's nothing on the inside. That's disappointing when you see that. I mean, they go through they get all the detail of having, you know, Freddy Krueger coming through, and you know, you got a silhouette there, and then they have absolutely nothing for the inside. That's unacceptable, I think. But that's U.S. Steelbooks for you. You don't get stuff like that from the UK or even Germany. And a little gripe I have. Good movie though, otherwise, and it's a decent Steelbook, so we've all seen A Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm sure. Up next is a very good vampire film called From Dusk Till Dawn, starring George Clooney. And I got this from one of my friends from Canada. We did a trade a couple of years ago. And this is a really good film. I really enjoy it. It's about a couple of crooks that have hostages, and they take them to this kind of a rundown. They think it's a deserted town, but it's a den of vampires, and I'm sure you've all seen this. Very cool Steelbook. I really enjoy this. Very good film. If you haven't seen it, go pick it up. And up next we have another vampire film, and this is almost as good as From Dusk Till Dawn. Some people would rank it higher. I rank it lower than From Dusk Till Dawn, but this is still a very solid film. This is The Lost Boys. And this came out in 1987. And again, there's not one little piece of artwork on the inside. It's disappointing to me. And then you just have, that's pretty cool, the two little bite holes coming down. And I had to double check. I thought this was a Anchor Bay, but it's a Warner Brothers, because usually Anchor Bay kind of skimps out on a lot of their artwork, and Anchor Bay used to be the top, I thought. Back when I first started collecting, Anchor Bay was the cat's meow, and you know, they came out with all these really lavish editions and special editions and limited editions, and now they just hardly put any money at all into their product, and it's pretty disappointing. Meanwhile, other companies like Arrow and Scream Factory are reigning supreme right now, and they kind of just left Anchor Bay in the dust. Here's the title I was talking about. That is the sci-fi. I wouldn't really consider this a horror. I just wanted to show you because I like this little feature here. I don't know if you'll be able to. There's a little button up here. You can hear Godzilla roar. This is really cool. And I enjoy the movie too. I thought it was good. I like all these Godzilla type films. This one came out in 2014. And if anybody, I don't know if this code will work, but if anybody wants it, go ahead and take it. I hope my camera picks it up for you guys. But like I said, I don't know if this expired or not, but if it hasn't, first come, first serve. Whoever gets it, it's yours. And then you have the little scene of Godzilla kind of wading through the city. And then you have Nice little swing tray here, and this is the Blu-ray. Oops. And then you have the DVD. So I hope the digital copy works for whoever gets it, and you're welcome. I don't use the digital copies anyway, so. And I'm sure there's going to be a couple more in some of the editions I show coming up. So if there's anything that you guys want to grab, go ahead and take it. Up next is probably one of my favorite serial killer movies of all time. I love this movie. This is Zodiac, the director's cut. And I thought Mark Ruffalo played a fantastic cop in this movie. And then Jake Gyllenhaal played the newspaper reporter who was kind of under the wing of Robert Downey Jr.'s character. And this is based on the actual Zodiac killings. And this movie is almost perfect. I would give this a 9 out of 10. For those of you out there who think I don't give 9s, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I'm glad to own this. There's absolutely nothing on the inside, which is disappointing, again. And I'm not going to keep repeating myself, but I hate to see that. And there you see the back. So that is Zodiac, and if you haven't watched this movie, I recommend it, highly recommend it. Up next is Alfred Hitchcock's original Psycho from 1960. And here's another digital copy. Let me see if I can pick that up a little bit better for you guys. And it looks like it's not gonna. Let me see if I can pick it out. Put it over here. Anyway, if you can't see that, if you're interested in the digital copy, just leave me a message below and I'll get that to you. My camera, sometimes it'll pick things up that's fine, and then sometimes it won't. So this is a really good movie, one of Hitchcock's best. Everybody knows this film, and I'm glad to own this. I also own this on Universal Legacy. It's almost like a little hardbox DVD. Okay, up next we have, we'll get this one out of the way. This is a DVD 3-pack. This is a Serial Killer 3 DVD pack, limited edition. Comes with the movies Ed Gein, Gacy, and Dahmer. And all 3 of them come on their own disc. And this is a pretty, of the 3, I really liked Gein, and then Gacy was pretty good. Dahmer was so-so. But they're all pretty decent. And that is the Killer 3 DVD pack. Up next is a good Steelbook from Anchor Bay. This is the DVD, Dario Argento 5 films by Dario Argento. Do You Like Hitchcock? Phenomena, Tenebrae, The Card Player, and Trauma. And they all come on their own discs. And they all have pretty cool artwork. And they're all solid films. These are, I'm not really a fan of The Card Player, to be honest with you. But other than that, I think these are all solid films. And up next is probably a movie I'm going to put in tonight and revisit. This is called The Breed. This came out in 2006. Michelle Rodriguez is starring in it. This is a pretty good, it's a decent film. It could have been a little bit better. I think this one just missed it too. But it's another one of those films where one of the guys in the film inherits a house that's on a deserted island. Or at least they think it's deserted. And once they go there, they realize that there was a facility on the island that used to train dogs. And they find out that the facility that trained dogs had to close down because there was a rabies outbreak. So a lot of these dogs that were being trained are just kind of running rampant through the woods, and they're killer, vicious dogs. And these kids that are out on this little getaway have to fight for their lives from these dogs. It's a really good film. I wouldn't say it's a really good film. It's a good story, but they just missed it being a great film. I'd probably give it about a 6 out of 10. Up next is The Omen. This is the original The Omen from 1976. Starring Gregory Peck. And there's the little boy. There's Damien. He's Possessed by Satan. This is a really good film. I enjoy this. This was a drive-in classic back in the day. See the graveyard there. And you have disc 1, which is the collector's edition movie. And disc 2 is, I'm assuming disc 2 is the extras. And then you have a nice little collector's booklet here. It's glued together. I don't know why that's put together like that. Those little glue dots. Anyway, you have the chapter menu. Now I got this thing all wrinkled. And you got some little write-ups about it. Nice little edition. I'd upgrade this on Blu-ray if I get a chance, but it's down on my list. You know, I'm not really in a hurry to get this on Blu-ray. So that is The Omen. Next is one of my favorites of all time. This is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974, put out by Dark Sky Films. This is the DVD. And I have since purchased the Dark Sky Black Maria Semi. A lot of you out there have. It's a pretty classic scene still from the film. And this is one of the best movies ever made, I think. And I really enjoyed part 2 as well. There were different types of movies. This was more of a shock, true story type film, although it was never, this was not a true story. Not even close to the Ed Gein story, but you know, hearing that chilling narration in the beginning of this film always kind of creeps me out, even as a grown man. I remember watching that as a kid. It's one of my favorites. Okay, up next we have Cannibal Holocaust. And this is a German edition. This is the XT video, and it has a lenticular cover, like a 3D style cover. You can see that. And this is the 2-disc uncut collector's edition. And there you have some pretty cool scenes of the film. Here you have, this is disc 2 that has the extras, and this is disc 1 that has the film. And there you have some stills of the film. Cult classic from 1980. That is Cannibal Holocaust. And up next we have The House by the Cemetery. And this is a Fulci classic, and this is another German edition from XT Video. It has another 3D cover. And this is a 1-disc edition. There's some stills in the background. There's the original poster art. There's the mansion of Dr. Freudstein. And up next we have Dawn of the Dead. And this is another German edition XT Video. These are pretty hard to find now. It's got a 3D lenticular cover. I don't know if that's picking it up for you guys or not. You can see that this is, they have it under the title Zombie. And that's why Fulci came out with Zombie 2, because this movie came out in 1978. And Fulci came out with Zombie 2 in 1979, trying to cash in on Romero's smash hit, Dawn of the Dead. Here you got a nice picture of the zombie, or one of the zombies, and then you have the original poster art. And then here you have, first DVD is the Ultimate Final Cut, and the second one is the extended version. So this was, I think this was the longest version that ever came out in the US, and then this was the Ultimate Final Edition, which was the longest version. This was the Romero and Argento cuts mixed together. I believe that's what it was. So that is Dawn of the Dead. And then up next we have Day of the Dead. Another XT Video from Germany. Another 2-disc set and another 3D cover. These were limited editions, but I don't know what the number was on these. Ooh, this one's hard to get open. There we go. And then this one has 2 discs, but they're stacked together. There you have Bub. And I believe that was, I thought that poster art was from Dawn of the Dead. I could be wrong. But this is definitely Day of the Dead here. And then on the first disc we have, this is actually disc 2. I believe those are the extras. And then here's disc 1, which would be the film. So that is Day of the Dead. And then we have Diary of the Dead, which this one gets a lot of hate, and I don't really see why. I think it's good for what it is. I enjoy this film. It's almost kind of like a POV style film. A group of students are trying to make their own film, and what they end up capturing on film is horrifying, and I'm sure you guys have all seen this already. 2 disc set, limited edition. And this came out in 2007. And here here's a limited edition number. You have 016307. So I have 16,307, and they have another room for a number here. So if there was 100,000, that's not very limited to me. I mean, 100,000, that's probably, I mean, if it was like 5,000 or something, even 16,000 doesn't seem like it's very limited. But whatever. On the inside we have, this is the DVD feature and the DVD bonus disc. And you have a couple of views of the zombies here. Pretty nice. And then you have a little insert card here. It's like a little postcard. So that is Diary of the Dead, George A. Romero. And up next is my last XT video DVD, and this is Voodoo, which is actually Zombie 2, or I mean, it goes by Zombie Flesh Eaters, and there's a couple other titles also for this movie. This is I go by Zombie. And then there you have the iconic zombie image from the film, and then you have the poster art, the original poster art. And then here you have the disc, and this is the feature film. And there's the fat zombie that's on the boat in the beginning. This is probably my favorite zombie film of all time. A couple stills here. And it has a 3D cover, which you can't probably tell. But that is Voodoo, aka Zombie Flesh Eaters and Zombie 2 and all that stuff. Okay, up next is a Norwegian import called Rare Exports. And this is the limited edition Blu-ray. There's the little J card, whatever you want to call it. I like to keep these. This is a really good movie. The only thing is it's in Finnish language with English subtitles. I think there has been an English version released since with English dubbing. This is a film about some archaeologists are digging and they unearth the corpse of Santa Claus, and after that children start to disappear and they have to go on a manhunt for Santa Claus. It's a pretty good film. Pretty nice little inside artwork, which I really appreciate. And then you have like some little postcard, lobby card type little inserts here. So there you go, that is Rare Exports. Film came out in 2010. And if you don't like to read subtitles, don't get the Steelbook. Go on eBay. I think there's a Blu-ray keep case edition that has since come out with that's English friendly. So, okay, up next we have a twin pack here, Steelbook from Germany, and this is Reanimator and Bride of Reanimator, both together on the same Steelbook. And here you have the unrated Reanimator Blu-ray, and then you have the Bride of Reanimator, and then you can see the little head there. And these are really good films. I really enjoy these. And then this is just an ad for some movies that are coming up. The ABCs of Death, which was kind of a miss for me. I didn't really care too much for that film, but I'm sure some of you out there did. And then just to revisit, I showed these the other day in my Synapse update, but I have the Demons 1 and 2 Steelbooks. I'm not going to go over those. And then I have some Second Sight Steelbooks here. I have the Reanimator again. And there's no inside artwork. We have the unrated version and the theatrical version. It says the integral version with and bonus features. So that is Reanimator from Second Sight, which I recommend. It's a good one. And then I have the Basket Case Trilogy 3-disc, and what I like about this is all of the films are on their own disc, even though these are Blu-ray, and you can probably fit all 3 movies on one Blu-ray. I appreciate that they took the time to put them all on their own separate discs. And these films are pretty good. These are Frank Henenlotter comedy horror films. I enjoy these. And the last one from Second Sight is The Return of the Living Dead. And I like this movie too. I like all of the Return of the Living Dead films. And then it comes with this nice little booklet here. Maybe about, I don't know, 8-10 pages. Pretty cool. It's got comics and write-ups and chapter listing. Very nice. So that is Return of the Living Dead, and I strongly recommend picking that up. And then I have a couple, some of these are double dips, just because I like Steelbooks and I like the films. And this one here is, I bought this on Zavi.com. It's a UK release of An American Werewolf in London. It's one of my favorite werewolf films. It's right up there with Dog Soldiers. And I like this, that landscape type artwork. I really enjoy that. I'm keeping this one sealed because I have this one also, which this is the one I watch when I want to put it in. This is the US release. And there's not even any disc artwork. There's nothing on the inside. And then you have this little picture on the back and the little J card. Good movie. Then we have Shaun of the Dead ×3. These 2 are US releases. This was that comic book style cover that they had from a couple of years ago, and then this one came out about a year ago. Shaun of the Dead. And then this is the UK edition from Zavi. I like that landscape style. This is probably my favorite cover of the Shaun of the Dead films. And those are all sealed. And then I have a couple Evil Dead films here. This is the UK release of the original Evil Dead. And this is the remake. This is the US version, the Target exclusive Steelbook. And then this is the US release. This is Anchor Bay. Yes, this is Anchor Bay. And this one is from the original part 1. And then I have 2 more here for you guys. I have The Walking Dead, the complete 4th season, and The Walking Dead, the complete 3rd season, which I also have the zombie busts for these. One of them was a fish tank, and one of them was a... I have all the busts from The Walking Dead. I can't remember which season was which. I know there was a fish tank, and there was a zombie head with a screwdriver in the eye. And then there was a little tree trunk zombie, and I don't recall which one was which. I think part 3 was the fish tank, and I think part 4, or I'm sorry, part 4 was the fish tank, and part 3 was the I don't remember. If you guys remember which one was which, just comment below. And these were put out by Anchor Bay, and I have not opened up the 3rd season because I saw it previously, but I'll show you how these kind of work here. You got disc 1, and you have disc 2, and then there's a swing tray for disc 3, and there's a little booklet where you can order Walking Dead stuff from AMC.com. And then here's a streaming code, if anybody can pick that up. Let's see if I can get it right in there. I don't know. That's frustrating to me. If anybody wants the code, I don't know if this is expired or not, but if anybody's interested, let me know and we can give it a shot. And here's disc 4. And there's the last disc, disc 5. So guys, that is my Steelbook collection for my horror films. And I have quite a few other Steelbooks that I haven't shown yet, but I'll show those someday. I think I probably have about 100 Steelbooks or more. So let me know which Steelbooks you have, which ones you like, which ones I should pick up. I know there's a ton of nice Steelbooks over in the UK on Zavi.com and stuff like that. And then there's a lot of really good Steelbooks from Germany, Austria. So thanks for watching, and if you like the video, give it a like. And I'm approaching 150 subscribers, and once that happens, I'm going to have a contest. I think I'm about 9 or 10 away. So hopefully within the next couple weeks I will get 150, and then I can post the contest and the rules and everything. And I'm not really looking forward to, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this so I can give back to the community. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and sub, and I'll sub you back. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.